All right. So today, we're diving deep into something super important for any marriage that wants to not just survive, but thrive.
Absolutely,
We're
Lando.
talking about communication.
Yes.
And to guide us, we've got Making Your Marriage Work by Faith A. Oyedepo.
Great book.
But, and this is key, we're not just going to summarize it.
Yeah.
We want those nuggets, the
There you go.
actionable stuff you can use to make your own marriage stronger.
I like to think of it as a toolkit.
Ooh, a toolkit for better communication?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And get this, some of the stuff we're going to unpack.
Okay.
Why is trust like the foundation of a house for good communication? How can understanding your partner be like reading between the lines, right?
Ooh, interesting.
And this one I love. Words are the vehicle of communication.
Okay.
But are we all driving the right kind of car? You know what I mean?
I like that analogy. Yeah.
So first things first, Oyedepo, she's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Communication is essential, like non-negotiable.
She doesn't mince words, does she?
No, she's straight to the point.
She says communication is absolutely vital.
It's like she's saying, look, if you want a truly fulfilling marriage.
You got to figure this communication thing out.
Exactly.
And you know what I love about how she explains this?
Okay.
She uses this analogy, gold in a garden.
Ooh, what do you think she means by that?
I'm curious to hear your take.
Okay, well, to me, it's like, even if your relationship has all this potential, right? Like a garden full of hidden treasure.
Mm-hmm.
It's useless if you don't know how to unearth it,
Yes.
And communication, that's the tool.
It's how we dig up that treasure.
Yes.
Even
Yep.
so.
It's not enough to just have the potential. You have to actually cultivate it.
Through open communication.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, and this is for everyone listening right now, think about your own marriage.
Yeah.
What potential is just waiting there?
Mm-hmm.
And are you using the right tools to dig it up?
I love that. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget to nurture that connection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Oyedepo, she even points out
Mm-hmm.
God himself, like the big guy upstairs,
Right.
communicates. He uses communication to get his plans across.
It's like it's built into the fabric of creation.
Totally. So if it's good enough for, the creator of the universe,
Right.
it's definitely important for us down here,
Absolutely.
trying to make these marriages work.
For sure.
Now, Oyedepo, she's not talking about one-sided communication.
Right.
She's not saying, husband talks, wife listens,
Oh, no.
like that old school stuff.
Absolutely not.
No, she's saying both partners.
Both voices are equally valuable.
Yes, got to move past that old-fashioned thinking.
For sure.
It's about partnerships,
Yes.
where everyone feels respected and heard.
Absolutely.
Okay, but now, this is where it gets a little,
Okay.
maybe even a little scary.
Ooh.
Oyedepo warns us,
Uh-huh.
if communication breaks down,
Mm-hmm.
things can go bad.
It's true.
Like really bad.
Yeah, she's pretty clear about that.
She even says, poor communication
Mm-hmm.
can lead to, get this, brutality in Christian marriages.
Strong words.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And she uses the example of Adam and Eve.
Oh, yeah, in the
They're
garden.
on there, remember?
Mm,
Adam just assumes Eve understands what God said.
right,
But that miscommunication that opened the door,
for temptation.
yeah, the serpent was right there.
Right there to take advantage.
So how does this apply to us, today?
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
How often do we make assumptions in our own relationships?
Oh, that's good.
Do we really listen?
Do we make sure we understand?
Yeah. Or are we just letting things slide?
It's so easy to think you're on the same page and you're not.
You're not even in the same book sometimes.
And those little misunderstandings,
Mhm.
they build up
like cracks in the foundation
until the whole house.
crumbles.
Exactly.
So yeah, clear communication,
Super important.
vital.
Okay, so we know communication is important,
Mhm.
but it's not always easy.
Right.
Right.
It's a skill.
Even Oyedepo, and she's like, an expert,
Yeah.
admits that she and her husband haven't always been perfect.
Right. She tells that story
Yeah, where she realizes
about her husband's vision
that she needs to really understand her husband's vision.
and share it. Yeah.
So it's not just about communicating your own stuff.
No, it's about alignment.
It's about being on the same page.
Yeah, shared goals,
Yes.
dreams.
Are you and your partner truly on the same page?
That's a big question.
Big question.
Yeah.
Because if you're not,
How
that's where the communication breakdown starts.
That's when the cracks appear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to build a house together, but
Yeah.
using totally different blueprints.
Exactly. And, building that strong foundation, Oyedepo really emphasizes honesty.
Especially early on.
Yeah, when you're just getting to know each other
She's all about open communication.
right from the start, even during courtship.
I loved that story she told
Which one?
about the woman. Her marriage was struggling after like 3 months.
Oh, right. The one where they just weren't open while dating?
Yeah, and then all that unsaid stuff just exploded once they got married.
That's like those early communication patterns.
Set the tone for everything.
If you really do.
It's like learning to dance together.
Okay.
If you don't start on the right foot, you're going to be tripping all the time.
Stepping on each other's toes.
And, it's not just about spouses communicating, right?
Right.
Oyedepo also talks about
The kids.
communicating with your children.
Yes. She talks about how her own kids, understanding their parents' ministry, that really helped their family stay unified.
So it's like good communication skills
It benefits everyone.
creates this culture of openness.
That ripples outward.
I like that. Okay, so Oyedepo lays out these 4 key components.
A great communication.
What's the first one?
Well, she starts with trust.
Which makes sense.
It's foundational, like the foundation of a house. Everything crumbles.
You can't really open up if you don't trust the other person.
Absolutely. And she makes this interesting observation
Okay.
about women. Often, they want to share, their hopes, their dreams.
But men sometimes hold back.
They do. And she explores why that might be.
Okay.
Some men, they're worried women won't keep things confidential.
Oh, so it creates this barrier.
It can. And this is a question for everyone listening.
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
Do you feel safe
Trusted.
in your marriage when it comes to communication?
Ooh, that's a deep one.
It is. It's worth thinking about.
Because if you don't feel safe,
It's hard to be vulnerable.
exactly. And if trust is the foundation, understanding is what we build on top of it.
Yes. Oyedepo says understanding your partner.
Less friction.
More harmony.
It reminds me of that story, Abigail in the Bible.
Oh, yes.
She was so good at reading between the lines.
She understood David's anger
And she de-escalated the whole situation.
with her words, with her
I
communication,
feel like she had this emotional intelligence,
knowing what he needed to hear.
even if he wasn't saying it.
Exactly.
So the question for us is,
How well do we understand our partners?
you get their style.
Their unspoken cues.
That takes real effort.
It does. And that leads us to the third component,
Okay, what's number 3?
openness.
Openness. Okay.
Oyedepo talks about one flesh.
And how that connects to transparency.
She even uses the example of Adam and Eve,
In garden.
naked and not ashamed.
Wow, so she's saying, don't be afraid to let your partner see all of you.
Even the parts you might want to hide.
And she's very clear, covering things up.
That just lets them fester.
But openness,
Brings healing.
powerful stuff, makes you wonder if there are any covered wounds in your own marriage
Ooh, that's good.
that need attention.
It's easy for those hidden hurts to build up
Create resentment.
if we don't address them.
Okay, so we've got trust, understanding, openness.
What's missing?
What's the final ingredient?
Choosing the right words.
Ooh, the words themselves.
Oyedepo calls words the vehicle of communication.
I love that image. Like we're picking the right car for a road trip.
Yes.
Yes.
And just like you wouldn't try to haul a trailer with a tiny car
You need to make sure your words can carry the weight.
of your message.
So important. She stresses using words that build up,
Show grace.
not tear down,
It's easy to let those hurtful words slip out
especially when we're stressed.
or frustrated.
But those words, they can really hurt.
Leave stars.
And Oyedepo gives this practical tip
Oh, yeah.
about considering your partner's personality.
Like if they're an introvert,
They might need more time to process before speaking.
pushing them to talk before they're ready.
Could backfire. So good, communication isn't one size fits all
It's not, you have to adapt.
to the person you're talking to.
And to wrap up this section, Oyedepo leaves us with a question.
Hit me with it.
Are the words we're using building up or breaking down our marriage?
Ooh, that one's gonna stick with me.
It should. We have to be mindful of the impact of our words.
Both the good and the bad.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've explored these 4 components.
What comes next?
Let's talk about the benefits of all this good communication.
Oyedepo highlights 2 big ones,
Okay.
intimacy and self-awareness.
So how does good communication lead to intimacy?
Well, think about it. When you're open and honest,
It creates connection.
closeness.
It closes those gaps where resentment can creep in.
Exactly, like you're constantly building bridges instead of walls.
That's beautiful.
And then there's self-awareness.
Okay.
Oyedepo says honest communication.
Helps us understand ourselves better.
And each other.
Like holding up a mirror.
to your relationship.
See things you might have missed.
And that understanding can lead to acceptance.
Appreciation for your partner.
Because when you truly get someone,
You can love them for who they are.
flaws and all,
That's the power of communication, right?
it can transform us.
Our relationships.
Everything.
So it seems like the core message here.
Communication is essential.
It's the lifeblood of a thriving marriage.
It truly is. But even the best communicators,
Can improve.
we all have room to grow.
Nobody's perfect.
That's right. We're all works in progress.
Yeah, it's encouraging, right? To know we can always keep learning
Growing. Yeah.
when it comes to communication.
It's a journey, not a destination.
So true. So before we wrap up our deep dive into making your marriage work,
Mm-hmm.
anything else that really stood out to you from the book?
You know, what I found really powerful
Okay.
is that Oyedepo, she doesn't just focus on, like, the techniques.
Right, the how-tos.
She goes deeper.
Okay.
She talks about the heart.
What do you mean by that?
Well, she says our words.
Okay.
They're an expression of what's inside us.
Ah, so if we're holding on to, like, resentment,
Bitterness, unforgiveness.
that's just going to leak out.
It will, even if we try to hide it.
Like trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken bone,
Exactly. You can cover it up, but it won't heal right.
unless you deal with the real problem.
So to improve communication in marriage,
We got to start with ourselves.
with our own hearts,
Okay, so what's step one? Like an emotional detox.
maybe. But really, I think it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Take some time, reflect on your own emotions.
What are we holding on to?
What are we afraid to let go of?
And how is that affecting how we talk to our spouse?
That's the key question.
Once you see those patterns,
You can start to address them.
maybe have a conversation with your spouse about something that's been bothering you.
Or do some personal work on forgiveness, letting go of past hurts,
It's like clearing out the clutter.
so healthy communication can flourish.
Love that. But this isn't a one-time thing, is it?
No, it's ongoing.
Just like decluttering our homes.
We have to tend to our hearts regularly.
Good communication starts with a healthy heart.
For ourselves and our spouses.
Absolutely. And when we communicate with love
Respect.
and desire to connect,
That's when things change.
that's when marriages transform. This has been so insightful.
I
I feel like I've learned so much from making your marriage work
You too.
and from
Forever.
you.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you.
And to everyone listening, remember, building a strong marriage.
It takes effort.
But it's so worth it.
Keep those lines of communication open.
Be kind to each other.
Never stop learning and growing.
And if you're feeling stuck,
Don't be afraid to reach out.
there's help out there.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.